Hello. Hello, dear students and my viewers. Once again, this is Dr. Ahmed live on YouTube. And as you are looking at the screen, you can find that chapter 3 of the novel Ice Candy Man by Bapsi Sidhwa. That chapter we are starting today is chapter 23, and with the passage of time, we shall take some hint from chapter 24 and ultimately reach chapter 25. So, three chapters will be discussed in this lecture of today. I'm going full screen on the text, so follow the text. I would be disappearing. All right, now we have here chapter 3. And the chapter 3 has certain red writings on it, that is, Aya receives the partition. We remember in the last chapters, we have been talking about the partition, that it's taking place, Gandhi, Quaid-e-Azam, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and many other leaders have been discussed in the past chapters, and the efforts of the people to get more and more villages of the Punjab, Gurdaspur city, in Lahore, all these things we have talked about already. This partition is now going to impact our heroine, that is Aya, or we can say Shanta, who's working at the house of the Parsi people, or she is the Aya of Lenny Baby, and this is the chapter that will throw a lot of light on the fact how she suffers, how she has to bear the brunt of this partition thing, and that is what will be the main theme of our lecture as well. But there are many other things that we can go through and talk about as well. For example, the start of chapter 3's first passage that I must read for you is about Whelan Road, bereft of the colorful turbans, hairy bodies, yellow shorts, tight pajamas, and glittering religious arsenal of the Sikhs, looks like any other popular street. Lahore is suddenly emptied of yet another fiery dimension. There are no Brahmins with caste marks or the Hindus in dhotis with buddhis, only hordes of Muslim refugees. This is the condition of Lahore now. We are being informed here by Sidhwa that after the partition had taken place and Pakistan had become into existence at that time, the streets of Lahore were giving a different scenario. First, before partition, the streets of Lahore used to show Sikhs also, Hindus also, in their respective dresses or in their religious garbs as well. But now, if you look at these streets, we don't find, according to Sidhwa, anyone who is Sikh or appearing from his dress to be Sikh, or anyone who is Hindu, because all these people have migrated and no one can find, only Muslim refugees on the streets only. So that is the change now. When Pakistan is established at that time, the streets of Lahore are full of Muslims only, and there are no Hindus and no Sikhs, all have migrated. So once again, theme of migration is working here. What happens because of migration, the hue and the color of the cities change, as this has changed in case of Lahore as well, that now you cannot see the Sikhs there or the Hindus there, you can see only Muslims there. And same is the case with the second passage, that is even more important with respect to that. It says, every bit of scrap that can be used has been salvaged from the gutted shops and tenements of Shalmi and Gowal Mandi. The palatial bungalows of Hindus in Model Town and the other affluent neighborhoods have been thoroughly scavenged. The first wave of looters and mobs processions has carried away furniture, carpets, utensils, mattresses, clothes. Succeeding waves of marauders riding in rickety carts have systematically stripped the houses of doors, windows, bathrooms, fitting ceiling fans, rafters, casual passerbys. Urchins and dogs now stray into the houses to scavenge amidst spiders' webs and deep layers of dust, hoping to pick up old newspapers and cardboard boxes or any other leavings that have escaped the eye and desire of the preceding wave of the Gundas. So this is the passage which goes to reflect the very much troubled, disturbing, and restless condition of the people of Lahore and the places, especially the places which have been left empty by their occupants, like the Sikhs or the Hindus who migrated towards India, and the houses were left unoccupied because most of the migrants couldn't take their things with them, and as a result, looting and plundering of these houses is going on. We get the mention of two places of Lahore, very famous places of Lahore. One is Shalmi, other is Gawal Mandi. These were also occupied by many types of people before partition, but now everyone has gone out of that, and a lot of looting and plundering is going on. Sidhwa has spent some time in letting us know what type of things were going out. For example, furniture, carpets, utensils, mattresses, and all these things were going out. And when main marauders and the people who are called looters have gone away, then come the other less important looters, and ultimately the total loot and plunder of these cities has taken place. When I read this passage, I remember one novel by Tolstoy. That is, the title of the novel is War and Peace, and the writer I mention again is Tolstoy. In War and Peace, we have the mention of the Napoleon Wars, which have taken place on Russia. And when Napoleon ultimately defeated Russia in certain places and occupied Moscow, Moscow at that time it was occupied by the French armies led by Napoleon, and these French people looted and plundered the city of Moscow of all these things which are mentioned in this paragraph. These people, the French army or the people associated with the French army, they looted everything of the city. They didn't leave even a single thing inside the houses, looted, plundered, and sometimes they burned the houses as well. In that way, the whole city presented a type of scene of looting and plundering, and the streets were filled up with the people who were mainly the soldiers, but they had now become the people who were always waiting for anything to pick up and get and control that thing or occupy that thing. This was happening in that city. Same was the case with Lahore. When we read this type of paragraphs, we come to know that similar type of things were happening inside Lahore after the partition. So partition has not come free. It is not a type of think that one can get free of any problems. No, it's not the case at all. There was the kind of big things which happened, many disturbances, many problems which were working there at the background of this partition thing that has been told by Bapsi Sidhwa in this novel by using various chapters she is telling us now. And here now the last scene is to be enacted, and that is why we will be feeling how our protagonist, the important person, one of the important persons in the novel, that suffers because of this partition as well. But before that, many other things are there. For example, let us go down into this chapter more and discover something. For example, here is Aya has stopped receiving visitors. Her closet friends have fled Lahore. She trusts no one. And Masir's death has left in her the great empty ache. I know sometimes when the muscles of my stomach retract around hungry spaces within me, but I know there is an added dimension to her loss I cannot comprehend. I know at least that my lover lives somewhere in the distant and possible future. I have hope. So Lenny is thinking about Aya, who's not happy at all because her visitors, who were actually her lovers, they have stopped to come, or she has refused to see them. And besides that, Masir has been killed in a very brutal way, and his dead body has been found out. And since that time, she's very sad, very upset because possibly he was the lover and he has been killed there. So in that way, we are being reminded by the writer that Aya is very sad on this partition because many of her admirers, many of her lovers have decreased, and it's something which is happening inside her, outside her. She is definitely at this moment paranoid and fearful also. She is sad and disappointed also. So we need to see how much she is going to be sad and upset. That we shall be deciding in the next coming passages down the lane. And for example, moving forward, if we continue with that, we have some of the descriptions of these slogans as written in italics. That is Allahu Akbar in Pakistan Zindabad. Before the partition, it was not only the slogan of Allahu Akbar in Pakistan Zindabad, some other slogans were also there related to the Sikhs and the Hindus, as we read in the previous chapters of this novel. But now only one slogan is there, that is Allahu Akbar in Pakistan Zindabad. That goes to give a proof that now the streets in Lahore, all these things belong to Pakistanis. They do not belong to any other people, though they had been living at those places for hundreds of years. Now let's see what happens in this passage, which is again green in color. From the very first instant, I sense danger. We all do. Perhaps it's the speed of their approach, perhaps the aim of their intent, buffeting us in threatening waves. There is a heightening in the noise, etc. Then mother comes out, joins Aya, mother voluptuous in peach or chiffon sari. So that is the scene which is talked about in these passages, 3-4 passages. The scene is like that the groups of the looters, plunderers, or revengeful Muslims who have left their places in India and who were very much angry because their own men and women have been killed on the way. Now, these people are in search of all the Hindus or the Sikhs which were present inside Lahore. They were hiding and they were searching out, and somehow they got the information that Aya, as a Hindu woman, was present in the house of these Parsis, and that is why all of these people, hundreds in number, they have come to the house of this Aya, Lenny, we should say, or the Parsi house, in order to get out Aya and to treat her as badly as possible. They have come here. But before they can come, all the people in the house make an attempt to hide Aya, so that Aya should not be killed by these people, should not be abducted or insulted by these people. They hide her. Imam Deen has come forward in order to pacify these people that Aya is not here. And he, with the passage of time, we shall be seeing that he even swears by God that Aya is not there. And he tries that the people should go away, but they don't go away. And in the same way, he tries to make a dialogue with them, a peaceful dialogue with them, to tell them that all these people who were Hindus here, they have gone. Aya is also not here. For example, Moti has, or the Hindu, or the Shankars, all these people who were Hindus, they have gone. And the remaining Hindus, for example, they have become Muslims. For example, he will talk about the Christian person who have become Christian. And same is the case with another person at the house who was a servant, and first of all he was Hindu, and later on he became Muslim. So the crowd asked them to read kalma, and he reads the kalma, and then they try to discover him whether he is whether the sleeper whether he is going to be Muslim by his other appearances or not. They leave him because they believe that they have become Muslim. Same is the case with Moti, and they say that Moti is also no more Hindu, has become Christian. So in that way, the men get rid of these people by showing that they have converted themselves from Hindus to Muslim, or from Hindus to Christianity. In this way, they get rid of them. But Aya is the only Hindu who didn't convert and who is present there inside the house but is hiding. And Imam then is making his maximum efforts to save her. But the ice candy man, he comes forward. He knows everything about the house, and he knows about Aya as well. He knows about Lenny as well. And ultimately, he puts the questions to Lenny whether Aya is there or not. And Lenny, being a person who cannot, hide anything, who cannot tell lies, she says that Aya is inside house, and as a result, whole the mob jumps into the house and they enter into and bring Aya out. And here is the kind of paragraph which goes to show that how Aya was brought out. For example, they drag Aya out, they drag her by her arms stretched out, and her bare feet that won't move backward are forced forward. Instead, her lips are drawn away from her teeth, and the resisting curve of her throat opens her mouth like the dead child's screamless mouth. Her violet sari slips off her shoulders, and her breasts retrain at her sari blouse, stretching the clothes so that the white stitching at the seams show a sleeve tear under her arm. So that's the condition. One can imagine that Aya, the only woman, is in the hands of hundreds of people who are trying to drag her out, and how cruelly they will be dragging her out, and how much fear and paranoia will be present in the mind of the girl at that time, when she will be thinking that nobody is able to stop them and nobody is able to protect her, and she's the one who is going to bear the burden of the establishment of Pakistan because she was Hindu. So here, the intolerant attitude of the Muslims, that has been also talked about by Sidhwa. But the Muslims, on the other hand, we shall notice in the next chapter also, in the last chapter also, we can find out that Muslim women and men, they have been butchered by the Sikhs. These have been cut down by their bodies, and the same thing possibly is occurring in the minds of Muslims here in Pakistan, that they are also going to treat the people in the same way as they have been treated in India. So in that way, the partition brought so much injury, so much bloodshed that is being talked about. And as you remember in some last chapter, we decided that Aya is India actually, attractive and all the time happy, attracting the people towards her. Many people love her, and as far as her appearance is concerned, that also goes to show that she is Indian. She is India in incarnation, but something bad is going to happen to this girl now, in the same way as with the land of India, as the Indians would call that the bad thing has happened. However, actually, it's not the bad thing. It's the partition which has created peaceful creation has been done with Pakistan. The Pakistan will be the country which will save and protect the Muslims. This was the kind of idea behind which the partition took place, and now it is right. This has been proved here that if this partition wouldn't take place, definitely Muslims will be in big trouble, as Muslims are in trouble in India at this moment as well. So Pakistan is the safety Pakistan is the protection for the Muslims, and that is why it was right at that time to create this country and to make the partition of India of that time. So, but the brunt of everything has to be borne. Partition is in itself cruel. It has caused migration. It has caused destruction. It has caused bloodshed. It has caused number of other things, and the same things are happening in this chapter, and same thing is happening now with Aya as well. But when something happens with the woman, especially with the weak woman, we always have the sympathies with her. And as a result, right now, we are thinking that Aya is the person who's innocent and who is being dragged out in that way. This is going to be something very bad. And that bad thing, Aya's that very bad thing has been said by Sidhwa in this paragraph. For example, she says, "The last thing I noticed was Aya, her mouth slack and piteously gaping, her disheveled hair flying into her kidnappers' faces, staring at us as if she wanted to leave behind her wide open and terrified eyes." So that is the terrorism, that is the kind of terror in the mind and the eyes of the girl who was called as Aya or Shanta at this moment. This has happened with her, and she's looking at the things with so much terrified eyes. These eyes become the terrified eyes, the symbolic terrified eyes of every woman who was dragged, who was injured, who was insulted, who was plundered in India as well, in Pakistan as well. So she is one of the symbol of those women who are treated by the mob, by the people who are terrorists in that way. She in that way becomes a representative of all those women who are raped, who are insulted, who are no injured, who are in that way treated in the wrong way, and in the terror which comes in their eyes, the same terror is present in the eyes of this Aya. That case of the oppressed woman is being fought by Sidhwa here in these lines. Let's go down and try to see what happens in the next chapter, that is 24, and next chapter can be understood only just by reading the first few lines, because this chapter is not that important. For example, the first lines say, "The evenings resound to the beat of drum. Papu is getting married. In the wake of my guilt-driven and flagellating grief and pining for Aya, the drums sound mournful and the preparation of the wedding joyless." So we find that some wedding or the marriage party is going on, and this marriage party is on the part of the Christian people, not that of the Parsi or Hindus or Sikhs. It is going to be the marriage party of the Christians, and all rituals, all fashions, all customs and traditions will be observed by these people in order to celebrate this marriage. But this is a very strange thing that in one chapter, partition is taking place and a woman is being insulted. Big tragedies are taking place. In the next chapter, Sidhwa brings the marriage dancing and enjoyable things of the word, which is happening here in this chapter as well. So in that way, the word is like that one house is full of tragedy, other house may be full of happiness. This is what is happening in whole of the country, and these houses can be taken as India, as Pakistan as well. Some people were happy in Pakistan, but the same people were not happy in India. Same could be the case that some people in India were unhappy totally, but when they had migrated and come to Pakistan, they were happy as well. So happiness and sadness go side by side, and that is what is being done by Sidhwa in these two chapters. So we shall find in this chapter, if we read it at all, we will be able to find many things which the Christian people observe, how the bridegroom comes, how the bride is prepared, and what other things happen, wearing of the new clothes, and then eating and everything like that these people do in order to celebrate the marriage of these people. The bridegroom may be happy behind a sera, and the bride may be ready there. All functions are performed by these people in order to show that these Christians were okay and they were satisfied, and that is why this chapter is only dedicated to the marriage of the Christian people. But the next chapter, as it is being indicated, it's chapter 25, and here we see another Aya. When Shanta, as an Aya, has been abducted by the people, and nobody knows about her, where she is, and who has taken her. That was the only terrified look last time, which is visible here in this chapter. But here we find another woman who is Hamida. Her name is Amina, and she's a woman who comes from India. She's a migrant, and she has lost everything. She's all alone. She has been insulted as well. She has been treated badly as well, but no, she's left alone, and she's present in the women camp. And she has come to the house of Lenny, and she's meeting the mom of Lenny in order to request her for a job, and she's given a job, and therefore Hamida becomes the second Aya of Lenny here. So this chapter 25 is all about that. Hamida is a very long woman, and she's the very strong woman as well, and she's very lean, thin, and smart woman as well. So all these characteristics combine in her, who becomes, the Aya of Lenny. One can proceed further in order to find this chapter how Hamida is also a suffering woman and how Lani was taking and adapting with herself with that woman as well. So Hamida, as a second ayah, was serving the Parsi people, was doing the things in a rightful way. But while the description of Hamida goes on, Sharbat Khan comes there, and other people who loved Ayah, they also come there. They're also very sad at the disappearance of Ayah. Sharbat Khan is especially sad because he says, as the green line suggests, that then he shakes his head and bitterly says, "Children are devil. They only know the truth. I can no longer look into his eyes." This is about Lenny because it was Lenny who told that Aya is hiding inside, who told to Candyman, and as a result, Aya was taken away. If possibly she had not said these words and she had tried to hide these words, Aya would have been saved possibly. That is why Sharbat Khan says that children are the devil, they tell the truths. And in that way, sometimes it is Nanny who feels sad and bad also, because it was she because of whom the things that happened like that, and now in future possibly she may be taking care of such things. So that is why we are reminded once again that all the people are thinking, if Aya had not been exposed by Lenny, definitely she could have been saved. And now everybody is sad because of this disappearance of Aya. Now, once again, back to Hamida. Hamida keeps her both head covered and her eyes averted from father. She shuffles and pivots awkwardly on her long legs, hunching her narrow shoulders, meekly careful not to offend anyone by her unusual height. So, one of the big characteristic of this Aya, second Aya, Hamida, is that she's very long in length. Her legs are very long, and she takes care of that nobody should be offended because of that. Now, one can compare the description of Aya with the description of Hamida. Aya was shown to be very luscious, physically very beautiful, but about Hamida, we don't have such things like that. Hamida rather appears to be a towering woman, that woman who can make anybody feel, awkward before the presence of such a long woman. The same thing happens here, and the description of Hamida is not therefore in that way very attractive as the description of Aya was there. Hamida's description is more that of a person who's careful and is having full body and is having all characteristics in her, but she's more concerned about her work, and she's therefore not attracting any type of people from any side at all. Going down, we should find more things about Hamida, who is working all the day in their home. For example, here the screen lines show sometimes her eyes fill and the tears roll down her cheeks. Once, when I smoothed her hair back, she suddenly started to weep, and noticing my consternation, explained, "When the eye is wounded, even a scented breeze hurts." So, this last sentence, "when the eye is wounded, even a scented breeze hurts," goes to show that Hamida also suffered somewhere the loss of her family, the loss of her belongings, and the loss of her identity. And as a result, she says that even if she gets good salary, even if she gets a good home to live, even if she gets good people around her, still she will be wounded in the same way as when our eye is wounded. It will be hurt by the little beautiful breeze. Even same is the case here, that Hamida says that if something happens to her, whenever she will be feeling and remembering her past, she will be weeping and crying as well. So Hamida is the second woman. Her name goes to suggest that she is Muslim, and she's the second woman in this novel who's being told to be suffering and who is remembering her suffering as well. So partition was not an easy type of job for any of the people in this world, especially that of the women. Women were the biggest possible sufferers in this type of novel we read, and the partition therefore is not an easy goal. It has come after the sufferings of so many people, tragedies with so many people. Hamida's story also continues, but alongside that, we shall also be able to get another story, and that is the story of Rana. I think everybody of this class remembers that Rana was the person, a friend of Lani in Pirpindu. As Imam Din had taken there, and Rana had become the friend to this Lani, and after some years, Rana is a grown-up child, say of 12 year or 11 year, and much time has passed, and Rana has been left in that village, and Lani has come back. But when the partition takes place, again, Rana as a child suffers so much that is beyond any description. The whole story of Rana, chapter within the chapter, has been, as the chapter has not ended, you see the heading has been given by Sidhwa, and this is the only chapter which has got this type of heading. Rana's story separately has been dedicated to him. Many pages are there where Rana's story is there, and I think it's very difficult to read this story because there are many cruelties, many injuries, many things which happen in this part of the chapter, and it's very difficult to read and go through that chapter. But I will be talking to you people just very briefly about the story of Rana. Rana was a person who was a child, of course, and he didn't possess anything other than the clothes which he has on his body. But he had his mother also, his father also, his aunts also, many other people who were who were belonging to him, and the village especially, which was definitely the type of village which belonged to her, and he was born there. Rana, therefore, is a child who sees and looks the partition and its impact with his own eyes. His own eyes witness what has happened there in the village Pir Pindu and the neighboring village. Let me briefly and summarily talk to you people that first of all, when Pir Pindu was informed that Akali party of the Sikhs is going to attack here and there in order to capture the lands and houses of the Muslim people. They're also going to rape the Muslim women. They're also going to, parade the women naked in the streets, and they're going to kill all the men, maybe young and maybe old. And this is what is being said in Pirpindu village. So all the Muslims make a plan that instead of leaving the village, they will be there in order to face these people, because the local Sikhs had local people had promised with them to fight with them and to save them as well. So they made this mistake and believed on these people instead of leaving their village in time when the army trucks had come, when the people were saying that they should leave. These people didn't leave those places, and as a result, they were to suffer as much as possible. When Rana listens to all this plan, the plan was that people will gather, men will gather in the mosque, and the women will gather in Chaudhry's house, and there when they will feel that all men are dying and nobody is there to protect the women would put themselves on fire. And the children will be put in some small room where they will stay for some time. After these people have gone, they can come out so that at least children can be saved. But all of a sudden, the Sikhs arrive and they kill the women. They kill the men in the mosque, and before the women could put themselves on fire, Sikhs reached there as well. So in that way, no woman could put herself on fire, but it was the fire of the anger of the Akali Sikhs, which happened as it mentioned in this part of the chapter, that no women was spared, not the old women, not the young women, not the girls, even smaller children, girls, even all the women, whoever were almost young, they were taken by the Sikhs to be raped in the mosque, and the young women, they were killed by the weapons which they were carrying, and there was bloodshed everywhere. And in that way, these major sufferers of the partition, men were killed, of course, but women were taken alive, and they were treated so badly and killed ultimately as well. But one cannot describe all these feelings and the things which are happened in this chapter. So leaving here, let's talk about Rana. Rana tried to hide himself, but still he was injured. At the time of night, nobody took care of Rana, and everybody went away. Rana ultimately got out of that and tried to run to the village of his aunt. He runs and faces many places where he could be killed himself, although he was injured. But still, he was running with fever and ultimately reaches the house of his aunt. But his condition was so bad that he fell there. His aunt and his family also calculated that he's dead, so therefore he should be left. And all the family, all the people of that village also ran away by riding the trucks, but this boy was left there. But he didn't die. He woke up once again, and once again ran in order to capture the lorries or the trucks which were taking the refugees towards the migrants towards Pakistan. He ran and couldn't find them, but ultimately reached a station where he was again insulted, and where he was told that all his aunts have been killed and all the people have been killed, so he has to do what he wants. He can run away or he can stay there. He continues to walk and continues to attach himself with different people who are being taken towards Pakistan, and ultimately he reaches Pakistan and in Lahore, and he finds no one, no house, no family there, and continues to eat the refuse and the things which are left by the people. And sometimes he's having no clothes on his body, and the injuries which he has, these injuries are unhealing injuries. These are very big injuries in his head, in his back. It's not possible for a boy to survive, but still Rana has survived. This goes to show the courage of humanity that it can survive such problems, such oppression as well, such migrations as well. Rana survived in order to convey story to the next people as well, and that is why, as a boy, as a man, as a young man, he becomes the victim of this partition as well. So partition not only gave pain and trouble to the elders but also to the youngers. Not only gave pain to the men but also to the women. So in that way, that is the story of Rana also. Ultimately, Rana was discovered by chance, not by any efforts. By chance, he was discovered by the people of the house of Lenny, and Imam Din then came to know that this was the person who was Rana, and Lenny then came to know this Rana has come there. But this was very different Rana from the time when Lenny had visited the village. At that time, he was a healthy boy, but now was a cripple. No, he was a person who's reduced to nothing and is suffering and is injured as well and is bleeding as well and has nothing to wear and has nothing to eat as well. So that is the kind of situation with which Rana has come there. Imam Din is very sad and upset because many of his people have been killed, and this is Rana only, who is the kind of mark of his family, mark of the life of the things which used to happen at that time in his village. So Rana is here when he has reached Pakistan. Now one can see that the migrant stories will definitely end, and the story of Aya, who is disappearing now at this moment, is not known where she is, that will start. The Parsi people will prove once again their worth by locating Aya, by finding her, by bringing her to their home, and after that, sending her back to her village in a very peaceful way. But before that, everything bad has been happening and has happened with Aya as well. So these three chapters represent the stories of oppression, of migration, of partition. And not only this is Aya who suffers, but also this is Rana, as we have seen, suffer. This is Hamida also who has suffered. So these are very painful chapters, and I have tried to cover as much as possible, but the students can read at home in order to discover further. But these passages are really very important with respect to theme of partition, with respect to the feministic element in this novel, with respect to Aya's story, Rana's story, or with respect to the other people who have suffered so much. So in that way, these chapters are important, and some of the assignments can be made on that. But first, you need to submit me the previous assignment, and after that, I shall be giving you new assignment. And here, the time has come that the whole thing should be stopped and taken care of. Some of the questions, if possibly you people have uploaded. Let me read some of your questions and see if there is something regarding questions there. On the page, I am not finding any of the questions here. For example, everybody is saying present, sir, and definitely, sir welcomes everyone. There is Hamna who has come here, Sana and Sidra. Nena, twice Nena. Though the far Nena has come also. And I know this is the name of Rimsha. Sidra Parveen is here. The GR, Walid, that's good. The boy is here. He is the boy after so many girls. And Ruwa Fatma, again girl. Arslan Hamad has come here. Muhammad Tanveer Malik also is saying something very good by saying that these are my lectures who are making him happy in this world of isolation. Yes, just after 1 or 2 days, one of my articles on isolation will be published in the newspaper. I shall share with you people, and you will definitely enjoy that. Really, this type of communication is important. So everybody should take very good part in these type of communications that we are having with the class. I hope that my lectures with you people are surely the thing which has contributed in making you people busy, free of boredom, and taking some interest into the studies as well. So, and same is the case with Huma Fareed. She also says that she has, the grandson of Imam Din. She says Rana and Chida are. Yes, they are related to Imam Din, but the chapters can clarify in what relation they are. In fact, we had another person who was more related to Imam Din. His name I'm forgetting, skipping at this moment. It was mentioned in Pir Pundu chapter. But these people have been talked about with reference to the village as well. So in this way, all these things have happened in these chapters, and we are reaching to the close of this stream now. I hope that everybody has understood. I will advise you people one thing, that I'm posting the link on Facebook. Now, if you have any comments or if you have any questions, you people should write these comments on Facebook page and the link which I share there. That would provide me an opportunity to discuss something post-lecture with you people, or to answer some of your questions on that post. So link will be shared very soon on Facebook, and there you can post your your comments or your questions. So from here, it's goodbye from me. See you in some next lecture. Thank you very much for watching.